Here's my deck profile for the March 7th tournament. 3 Kiba. When you put them in play, you can search out a Kamaru. Kamaru is a free summon, and you can use these two to squad on turn 3. So, I mean, it's a 0 drop, turns into turn 3, so it's really good. And playing 3 Shino. Also play the Shino Kiba squad. That's the reason I play Shino. And when he's put in play, you can summon a bug token. So, yeah, he's good too. Offensive and defense, because it gives you 2 ninjas, so you can attack with 2 teams. And then 2 Sakura ADP. Lets you swap your hand with the same cards from the top of the same amount of cards on the top of your deck. So if you have a bad hand, you could just put 2 cards that you don't need anymore on top of your deck, and then when they attack directly, those go to the battle ward area, so you don't have to draw them again. And plus, you get a whole new hand. So I mean, it's just really good. It makes your deck really consistent. And then 2 Crow, because I am playing the turn 3 Konkoro, which searches out a puppet when you put him in play, and then you can summon a puppet during the exchange jutsu. And then I'm playing the Black and Konkoro squad. So that squad says you can discard a puppet from your chakra or your field to put a poison coin on a ninja, and then if it's a turn 2 or lower, it gets discarded. So because of that, I decided to play as many puppets as I could in the deck. That's the only reason I'm playing the Crows. Normally, I just play the 1 salamander for Konkoro. And then I'm playing Sasuke Uchiha. This is in there just because I play the turn 4. And if I play the 0 drop, then on turn 4, I get to growth Sasuke into play, which means I can still deploy another ninja, so I can get 2 big drops in the same turn. It's a big advantage when you get to do that, so he's worth it. The reason I chose this one is because of his high attack. Soul Attitude has a higher attack, but he can be organized, so this guy's essentially bigger. Because you can make a team of 8 or whatever with 2 other ninjas early in the game. Where Sasuke, he can only be a 5, and if he gets injured, he's a 3. So, and I need to keep him healthy so that I can growth. I play 1 Gara of the Desert. The reason I play only 1 is because I'm not really trying to go into the Tamari and Gara squad that much. I go into sometimes, but I'm playing the Tamari and Sheikah platoon, and that's one of my main cards, so I usually don't want to get rid of it. But I do actually squad into the Tamari Gara a lot, but yeah, that's why I only play 1 of the Garas. So that's it for the 1 drops. So I'm playing 12, which is a very consistent number. 3 Tamari. I play 3 instead of just like 2 because I go into the platoon, so I need to draw Tamari. And then I play Black Ant. That's to squad into the Konkoro and Black Ant squad. And its effect is you can pay 2 1 chakra and send him to your chakra area, and then you make one of your opponent's opposing ninjas standby. Really good because they can counter a jutsu. So sometimes I'll just leave him on the field if I have control of the game and I just need jutsu counters. Then I'll just keep him on the field instead of squatting. Kareen, because healing is really good in general, but in this deck you can also combo with him. Because when you send out to attack or to battle, you can give a damage to one of your ninjas and then one of your opponent's ninjas with the same or lower entrance cost. So you can just keep giving damages and just healing whatever you give a damage to on your side. So yeah, she's mainly in there because of Sasuke. She's really, really good. Sakura, I don't know. This one, you can banish it, or rather, when it's banished, you can summon Inner Sakura. And she has Flashpoint, so you can banish her with Flashpoint and then bring her back at the start of your next turn. And Inner Sakura says that the turn she's put in play at the end of your opponent's turn, she gets banished, and that effect cannot be negated. So since she's going to go away anyways and she's going to come back, you can have a free chump blocker. If your opponent's trying to rush you, just block with this. It dies, it doesn't matter because you're going to get Sakura back next turn. And then also I play this other card over here, which is a big part of the deck. The Sand Council. You can target one of your ninjas and then summon a ninja with the equal or lower entrance cost from the deck, and then you discard the target. So if I have her on the field, I can summon a turn 2 or lower, and then discard her, and I'm not losing anything by discarding her since she's going to come back anyway. So she works really well with the cancel card. And also, when she's put in play, you can swap your hand. So if you have a bad hand, she can just give you a new hand, which makes her really good. And you can do that 3 times, so that's pretty cool. So there's a lot of consistency in this deck. And then Father and Mother, because it makes your Sand Ninjas unaffected by opponent's effects, which is really, really good. There was this time when my opponent had a Conqueror and Black Ant squad, and he couldn't give me poison coins because I had this on the field. He gave a poison coin to Kibo and killed it off, but that was it. After that, he couldn't hit anything because all I had was Sand Ninjas. This card is really, really good. Conqueror, amazing card. Summons a puppet every exchange jutsu, so he's really strong. Naruto searches out a mission, adds it to your hand, and then gives you at least +1 support. I play him because of the reinforcements, of course. Gotta go into these. These are broken. I play him almost every single game. I like to use him to summon Tsunade from the deck. So, I mean, that's really strong. Salamander. You can swing it into any of your teams. And then there's Sasuke. Mentioned that card. Current Knight. You can summon her from your hand during your opponent's battle phase. And then if you do that, your opponent cannot win any battle rewards. And if your turn marker is lower than her interest cost, she gets banished at the end of the turn. Otherwise, she stays in play. This card is one of my favorite cards in the deck because she just helped out so much. Whenever I have her in my hand, I just feel safe because there's a lot of people playing these mission cards like Medical Ninjas, which says only Medical Ninjas can be sent out to battle, or Naruto versus Sasuke, which only Genis can be sent out to battle. So they try to do cards like that to win the game. And you just summon this, and that it makes their mission useless. I was playing against a deck with Medical Ninjas, and I just felt safe the whole time because I had this in my hand the whole game. And game 2, I sided in another one because I sided 2 of these. And yeah, I had her both games in hand, so I didn't have to worry about anything. Really great card. And then she comes with Sasuke too because you need something to hit when he goes out to battles so that you can damage one of their ninjas. And if I special summon her, then I have a level 4 to give a damage to, so I can give one their level 4 to damage. Sasori, he has Ambush, which is probably the biggest reason I play him. Because when you can use your high drops as hand costs, it just makes the card way more consistent because sometimes it's hard to hang on to your higher interest cost cards early in the game because you can't use them yet, so you have to charge them because you can't charge the cards that you're going to need like in the moment. So, I mean, the fact that he has Ambush is really great, and then his effect is super, super good because you can discard him to summon any Puppet Master from the extra deck. So you can summon any of these guys. This guy I play because he gives your... actually, I'll get to that later when I get to the extra deck. But yeah, he can summon cards from the extra deck. Really good. And then Tsunade for healing. Same reason for Sasuke. And just healing in general. You can pay 1 chakra to heal a ninja and draw a card. So, actually, and she says heal target ninja. So if there's a reason why you need to heal one of your opponents, you could do that. Like if you want to heal Naruto to make it a 3 attack instead of 6 attack. And she has Mastery. The Mastery is insane. Really insane because she can play Hydro Pump. And if you have Sage Mode Naruto and her and then use him to bring out one of the Puppet Masters, you can have 3 Mastery and just use Hydro Pump over and over again. And then Temari and Shika Platoon, you can pay 2 chakra to make it a mental power battle or to cancel a mental power battle. And it has 4 support and 5 mental power, so it's really good whether it's mental power or not. Either way, it's really strong. And this is actually the reason I made this deck. It's because of this combo. I can injure a female with this to draw cards equal to its mental power. So I activate this, activate the mission, and then I injure the platoon and draw 5 cards, which is insane. So and then that's the other reason I play Kareen. I put Tsunade and Kareen both in there because the healing is important in this deck. 1 for Sasuke and then 2 so you can heal this so you can activate the mission again and draw another 5. So yeah. And then for Jutsu, 3 fear back in Jutsu. This card's just really, really good, really solid jutsu because anybody can play it. The cost is colorless, really good. It's a high cost, but it's worth it. This deck generates chakra pretty fast anyway. 3 Infinite Embrace, and then 2 Ferocious Punch, and the Hydro Pump because you need snipes in every deck. All these, the first 8 though are early game jutsu, so it's hard to rush this deck. And then for missions, we got 3 Neverending Love. For some reason, some people say this card's too broken and needs to be banned. I think that's ridiculous. This card is perfectly balanced. There were a lot of games when, if I hadn't played this, I would have been able to attack my opponent for 2 battle wards. And instead, I had to take 2 battle wards because I had teams of 1 because I played this card 2 turns in a row. So I had a bunch of teams with only 1 ninja in each team, and my opponent was able to keep attacking me every turn because he could just organize and make a bigger team. And so I had to give up winning battle wards and at the same time give up some of my battle wards. So I think it's perfectly balanced with the side effect that you can't organize the turn you play this mission. And then the 3 Soccer's Decision. A new squad. This is the best mission in the deck, probably. I try to play Naruto every single game. I generally do. It's easy to get them in this deck. And the reason I play him is just so I can search this out. This deck has a lot of platoons, a lot of platoons and squads. It has the 3 Tamari Shika platoon, and then it has all these squads I can go into. And one of the cool combos I have in this deck is if I have a new squad out, I can just if I have this on the field, I can squad these to go into Kiba Nakamaru and then reinforce. You can't just go squad into squad because you can't use a squad to make a squad with the same name. But I'll go the Kiba Kamaru squad into the reinforcement double-headed wolf, and then I'll squad again into this. So if I have new squad on the field, that lets me draw 4 cards right there. And then after that, I'll squad him and Shino into this. So that's 6 cards in one turn. And then squad into this, platoon to Mari. This card will let me draw like 10 cards sometimes in one turn. So it's a really great card. And then I got 3, the Sand Council. I really like this card because since this deck requires a lot of specific ninjas for specific squads or reinforcements or whatever, platoons, it's nice to be able to summon like the ninjas that you need without having to give up your deployment. That way you can still deploy. So I'll use, like, if I need Tamari for this platoon, and then at the same time I want to summon Naruto that turn, I'll normal summon Naruto, but I'll use this to sacrifice one of the ninjas I don't need to get a Tamari. So the fact that's the reason I use this. It has 3 effects, but I use it for the fact that says you can summon a ninja from the deck and then discard a ninja with an equal or lower entrance cost. And it can also add a lightning card from your discard pile to your hand, or make all teams mental power battle that turn. So it's really good. But yeah, it allows me to get whatever ninjas I need. And one of the things I like to do is summon these 2 and use the bug token from Shino for this effect to get a really good 1-drop, or use the Akamaru, which is a free summon, to get a 1-drop like Tamari. So I have, and then Conqueror is another way I can summon ninjas I don't need on the field. So I can use Conqueror to summon puppets, and then just discard those puppets to summon something else with this. So yeah, that card's really good. It's one of my favorite cards in the deck. I noticed throughout the tournament that sometimes Sheikah's Decision would have been better because I couldn't afford to sacrifice something. So I do want to play that card as well now, but I still really like this card. And I play 1 Arbitration. You can target one of your opponent's ninjas and then one of your ninjas with the same or higher interest cost, and then send them both to Chakra. And if you have Conqueror on the field, it's really easy to pay the cost because you can summon puppets for free. But yeah, this comes in handy a lot. I was playing against this that says players can only summon once per turn, which really hurts this deck. It also negates the effect of all head ninjas, and I used this to get rid of it, and then I was able to, spam the field as freely. So that was really good. There's a lot of problematic ninjas that you can get rid of, and since my zeros can turn into threes, like if I have the turn zero Kiba, I can turn it into this, and then I can use this to get rid of a 3-drop they have that's giving me issues. So here's the extra deck. Play those. Sage mode, of course. When it's sent out to battle, you can both players have to return a ninja on their side of the field to their hand at the end of the turn, and it has mastery. Summons all puppets from the graveyard. This is probably the one I use the most, actually. This card is ridiculous. You pay 3 chakra to discard all of your opponent's ninjas in a team of only 1. And a lot of times, your opponent will leave their best ninjas in a team of 1 because, like a lot of times they don't want to risk their best ninja getting hurt during battle. Like for example, if they have the Yamato that adds a mission or jutsu from your discard pile to your hand every single turn. If they have that on the field, they don't want to send it out to battle sometimes because they know if you win the jutsu war, then it's gonna die and then they won't have the effect anymore, so they'll leave it as a standby. So this very often can discard their best ninjas because of that. They'll just leave them by themselves because they don't want to risk them in the battle, and then you just get to discard them. And then sometimes they have, a strong ninja, and then also they have their chump blockers by themselves. So in case they need a chump block, you just summon this, you pop off like 3 of their ninjas, all their chump blockers plus one of their strongest cards, and then you could just attack for game, or you just leave them in a very bad position. This card, I don't think I've played it yet, but the reason I put it in the deck is because this deck can draw so many cards in one turn. Like if I have a new squad, I can draw 10 cards in one turn. If I play Soccer's Decision, I draw 5. And this card gives your hand no maximum hand limit. So you can keep 10 cards in your hand at the end of the turn. You don't have to discard anything. And his attack becomes equal to the size of your hand. And there could be games where you have a ton of chakras, so you don't need a charge, and you have 10 cards in your hand, and then you can just summon this and keep all those cards. This, just in case I need it, I actually play it quite a bit because it has mastery and has a really good effect. And then that's my bug token. All right, that's the deck profile. I did really good in the tournament. Kind of. I was undefeated, but I had to draw because of time. Unfortunately, one of my opponents was playing super slow, and that dragged the match out into time. And then the other one, he had the that says players can only summon once per turn. And then on top of that, later in that game, we both summoned Sasori, or he summoned Sasori puppet mode first, and when it attacks, both players have to return a ninja to their hand. So whatever we deployed, we had to return back to our hand. So we just couldn't make a big board, and then just made the game a lot slower. You couldn't attack with more than one team because there was barely any ninjas on the field. And that game really dragged out. So we went into time. Unfortunately, when we went into time, he had more cards in his deck than I did, so he got the win. Because we both had the same amount of battle words, but I had jutsus in my hand, and I had ninjas on the field. He had no ninjas left. I had, I believe, 3 ninjas on my side of the field, and he had 0. So I should have had that game, but we had the same amount of battle words, and he had more cards in his deck, so he ended up getting the win. 2 draws and then 2 wins. All right, thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you.